There comes a moment in life when everything suddenly feels unfamiliar, even though nothing has really changed. You wake up in the morning and the world looks the same bed, the same room, the same routine. Yet something inside you feels empty, dull, disconnected. You try to spark that old energy, that old excitement, but it doesn't come. The things that once used to make you smile no longer carry the same magic. Your favorite music sounds flat. The hobbies that once lit up your soul now feel like obligations. Even the people you love feel distant, not because they have changed, but because you cannot feel anything within yourself. And this is the moment when confusion enters your heart. You start asking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I enjoy anything anymore? Why does everything feel so heavy even when nothing is actually happening? This feeling is not a sign of weakness, nor is it a sign of failure. It is not because you are lazy, unmotivated, or ungrateful. It is something far deeper and far more human. It is your soul whispering for attention. It is your mind signaling that it is exhausted. You have been carrying silent battles for so long that you didn't notice how much wear they put on your heart. You have been surviving instead of living, meeting expectations instead of listening to your own needs, pushing through days instead of experiencing them. This is not the kind of exhaustion that sleep can cure. It is emotional exhaustion, mental exhaustion, spiritual exhaustion. When you have spent too long pretending to be strong, your mind eventually shuts down the parts of you that give life its color. Nothing feels interesting anymore because you have been giving everything without receiving anything in return. You have been there for everyone else, holding their storms while ignoring your own. You have been trying to stay strong, stay productive, stay positive. But no one can stay switched on forever. Just like a phone enters battery, saving mode when it runs too low, your mind does the same. It starts reducing energy, shutting down excitement, dimming interest in things you once loved, because it cannot afford to run at full capacity anymore. This isn't failure, this is protection. When life becomes emotionally colorless, it's not because you don't care. It's because you've cared too much for too long without a pause. You've poured your energy into responsibilities, dreams, relationships, worries, fears, hopes, and problems until there was nothing left for yourself. Your heart is not empty, it is drained. And when something is drained, it doesn't function the same way it used to. It grows quiet, numb, tired. It stops reacting to things that once stirred emotion. And you begin to feel as if you're watching your own life from a distance, unable to reach out and truly connect with it. But here is the truth that no one tells you. Feeling like nothing is interesting anymore doesn't mean your life is meaningless. It means you have outgrown the version of yourself that was carrying everything alone. You are not broken, you are not lost, you are not done. You are simply in a transition, a space between who you were and who you are becoming. And like every transformation, this one feels uncomfortable, confusing, and silent. Sometimes the deepest changes happen not in loud moments of realization, but in these quiet seasons of emptiness. This emptiness is not a void. It is a reset. It is your soul clearing space for something new. You are never meant to stay the same forever. Growth requires letting go. Healing requires slowing down. Renewal requires stillness. So when your mind refuses to get excited by things that once brought joy, it is not rejecting your life. It is redirecting you. It is guiding you towards something different, something deeper, something more aligned with who you truly are. Most people panic when they reach this point. They think something is wrong with them. But the truth is, this moment is one of the most honest moments of your life. You are finally feeling what you have been avoiding for so long. You are finally noticing the emotional fatigue that's been building inside you. You are finally facing the truth that you cannot keep living on autopilot. Something within you is calling for change. Something within you is asking to be felt, understood, healed, or released. Instead of fighting this feeling, listen to it. Instead of forcing excitement, allow the numbness to speak. It is not your enemy. It is a messenger. It is telling you that you need rest, not guilt. You need space, not pressure. You need to breathe, not perform. Your soul is asking for gentleness. It is asking for time. It is asking for reconnection, and you will reconnect, slowly, quietly. But before life becomes colorful again, there is a stage where everything looks gray. This is that stage. This is the moment before the awakening, before the clarity, before the new beginning. You are not stuck. You are preparing. You are not losing yourself. You are returning to yourself. And when that return finally happens, you will understand why this emptiness was necessary. You will see that the version of you that emerges from this darkness will be stronger, wiser, and more alive than the version that entered it. This is not the end of your story. It is the turning point. When nothing feels interesting anymore, the first instinct is to blame yourself. You start thinking you're becoming lazy, that you're losing discipline, that something is wrong with your personality. But the truth is far more complex and far more human. When your mind feels numb, it is not because you are weak. It is because you are overwhelmed. Your brain is doing something that many people don't understand. It is protecting you. Your mind has a natural way of shutting down emotional responses when it becomes overloaded. Just like a system that crashes after too many tabs have been opened, your brain reaches a limit where it can no longer process more stimulation. You live in a world where your attention is constantly being pulled in different directions. Notifications, social media, comparisons, unfinished responsibilities, deadlines, expectations from others, and expectations you place on yourself. You don't even notice how many things your brain is trying to juggle at once until the day it simply refuses to feel. And so you wake up one morning and nothing excites you. You scroll through your phone and feel nothing. You try to watch something you used to enjoy and feel nothing. You try to force yourself into routines and passions, but everything feels distant. This numbness is not random. It is built over time. It is the result of emotional armor your mind has built to keep you functioning when you were carrying too much. Sometimes the mind becomes numb because it has been dealing with pain you haven't allowed yourself to feel. Instead of letting yourself break down, you force yourself to keep moving, keep working, keep helping others, keep pretending that everything is fine. And while you do this, your emotions get suppressed deeper and deeper. Eventually, your mind cannot keep burying them anymore, so it shuts down your ability to feel joy as well. Emotional numbness is the cost of emotional avoidance. When you push down sadness, anger, loneliness, disappointment, it pushes down happiness, excitement, and passion along with it. Your mind cannot selectively numb only one feeling. When it shuts one door, it shuts them all. Another reason nothing feels interesting is because your life may have fallen into a routine so repetitive that your soul is starving for something real. When every day feels the same responsibilities, same people, same environment, same pressures, your brain stops releasing dopamine, the chemical that gives you motivation and interest. You are not bored because you want more entertainment. You are bored because your life lacks emotional meaning. The body can survive routine, but the soul cannot. Your inner world needs variety, purpose, direction, and authentic connection. Without these, life begins to feel like a loop you can't escape. Sometimes the numbness comes from emotional overstimulation. You have been exposed to so much noise, so much information, so much stress, so many opinions, so many comparisons, that your mind can no longer take any of it in. You become desensitized. Things that would normally spark curiosity or joy no longer reach you. It's not because you don't care, it's because your emotional channels are clogged. And then there's the quiet truth no one likes to admit. Sometimes nothing feels interesting because you have grown beyond the life you're living. You have changed inside, but your surroundings haven't. You have new emotional needs, new desires, new thoughts, new dreams, but you're still forcing yourself into old environments, old patterns, and old roles that no longer represent who you're becoming. This internal mismatch creates a feeling of emptiness. You feel numb not because you are empty, but because you are in the wrong place mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. You're not uninterested. You are unaligned, but the deepest reason your mind feels numb is simply fatigue. Genuine, long-term exhaustion. Your mind has been working even when your body was resting. You've been thinking deeply, worrying constantly, planning endlessly, solving problems silently. Emotional fatigue is invisible, but it is real. And when your mind reaches its limits, it turns off its interest in everything as a survival strategy. It conserves energy by shutting down emotional engagement. This is not failure. This is your brain trying to protect you from burnout. When you understand these truths, you begin to realize something important. This numbness is not who you are. It is a temporary state created by emotional overload. It is your mind saying, "I can't keep going like this. Slow down, listen, heal." It is an invitation to pause, reconnect, and rebuild yourself. You are not broken. You are not losing passion. You are not becoming boring. Your mind is tired, and tired minds do not feel. They survive. This feeling is not the end. It is a message. It is a reminder that even the strongest people need rest. Even the most motivated hearts need silence. Even the most passionate souls need time to recover. And once you give yourself permission to slow down, once you stop forcing excitement and start giving your heart space to breathe, the numbness will begin to melt. Your mind will slowly wake up. Your emotions will gradually return. Your curiosity will quietly rise again, and one day you will notice that something small, a sound, a memory, a moment, makes you feel again. That is when you will know your heart is coming back to life. There is a strange and quiet wisdom hidden inside the numbness you feel. When nothing excites you anymore, when the world feels distant, and even your own thoughts sound empty, it is easy to think you are falling apart. But what if this feeling is not a breakdown at all? What if it is a breakthrough disguised as silence? What if your soul is trying to teach you something that you've never had the courage to face? Sometimes life removes your sense of excitement so you can hear the truths you've been avoiding. When everything loses meaning, you are finally forced to confront what truly matters. Your soul has a way of shutting down the noise so you can hear the whispers inside you, and those whispers are asking questions, deep questions, uncomfortable questions, questions you can no longer run from. What if the goals you've been chasing don't belong to you anymore? What if the life you are living is too small for the person you are becoming? What if you've been carrying emotions that needed to be released years ago? What if the relationships you are holding on to have already expired? What if the version of yourself you're trying to protect is no longer the one you're meant to be? When nothing feels interesting, it is not because life is empty. It is because your soul is clearing away what no longer fits. The numbness you feel is not the absence of emotion. It is the pause before transformation. It is your inner world rearranging itself. Your heart is trying to reset. Your mind is trying to heal. Your spirit is silently preparing you for the next chapter of your life. This feeling is your soul tapping on your shoulder and saying, "I need your attention." Something inside you needs to change. And the moment you stop running from that truth, your healing begins. Maybe you've been pretending to be okay for too long. Maybe you've been biting your tongue, suppressing your anger, swallowing your sadness, ignoring your loneliness. Maybe you're exhausted from being strong for everyone around you. Maybe you've been living in survival mode for so long that you forgot how to live. And now, the numbness is forcing you to slow down and face these hidden parts of yourself. Every time you ignore your feelings, they don't disappear. They simply wait. They wait until you are too tired to keep them buried. They wait until life becomes quiet enough that you can finally hear them. And when they rise to the surface, they come not to destroy you but to free you. You can't heal what you refuse to feel. The numbness is not a punishment, it is an invitation. It is your soul asking you to walk into the room you have avoided for years. There is a deeper lesson behind this emptiness. You are being shown that the life you settled for is no longer satisfying your spirit. Maybe you've been surrounding yourself with people who drain you. Maybe you've been settling for comfort instead of growth. Maybe you've been denying your own dreams out of fear. Maybe you've been placing your worth in the hands of others. And now the universe, life, God, whatever you believe in, is removing the temporary distractions so you can finally see the truth. This period of nothingness is actually a cleansing. It removes what is fake so what is real can enter. It removes what is gone so what is meant for you can arrive. It removes what is outdated so you can step into a higher version of yourself. You are not losing interest. You are shedding an old identity. And transformation rarely feels beautiful while it's happening. It feels confusing. It feels heavy. It feels quiet. It feels like the world is fading away. But in reality, you are not fading. You are evolving. Think of a caterpillar. Before it becomes a butterfly, it enters a cocoon where everything dissolves. Inside that cocoon, it feels like the world has ended. It cannot move. It cannot feel. It cannot see what is happening next. But something miraculous is taking place beneath the stillness, transformation. And once the cocoon breaks, the creature that emerges is not the same one that went in. This numbness is your cocoon. Inside this silence, old versions of you are breaking down. Old habits are dying, old wounds are surfacing, old beliefs are dissolving, and beneath all of that, something new is forming. Something stronger, wiser, deeper, and more aligned with the truth of who you are. This feeling teaches you that your worth does not depend on your productivity or excitement. It teaches you that your identity is not tied to how motivated or energetic you feel. It teaches you that rest, reflection, and stillness are just as important as action. It teaches you that there is power in slowing down, power in listening, and power in letting go. And most importantly, it teaches you that you cannot truly live until you reconnect with yourself. You cannot find joy outside if you are disconnected inside. You cannot build a meaningful life while ignoring your own heart. This emptiness forces you to rebuild yourself from the inside out. It forces you to clear away the lies you've believed about yourself. It forces you to question the direction of your life. It forces you to awaken. You are not lost. You are being redirected. You are not empty. You are being prepared. You are not done. You are becoming someone new. And one day, you will look back at this period of numbness and realize it was the turning point. It was the moment your soul took over and began guiding you toward the life you were truly meant to live. Life doesn't become beautiful again in one big moment. It doesn't happen with a sudden burst of motivation or a dramatic change. It happens slowly, quietly, gently, almost invisibly. After a long season of numbness, the first sparks of healing come in small, fragile forms. You may not even recognize them at first. A tiny moment of peace, a slight smile you didn't expect, a morning where you feel just a little lighter than yesterday. Healing begins the same way the sun rises, not all at once, but gradually, one soft ray of light at a time. You don't wake up suddenly excited about life again. Instead, you start noticing that the emptiness inside you isn't as heavy as it used to be. You catch yourself humming a song without realizing it. You find a moment where your mind stops racing. You look at something, maybe the sky, maybe a memory, maybe a person, and something inside you stirs. That small movement is the beginning. That is your soul waking up from its long sleep. People often expect recovery to feel loud and powerful, but the truth is, it feels calm. At first, you may feel confused by it. You might wonder, why am I feeling something now? Why today? But healing doesn't follow logic. It arrives when your heart is finally ready, not when your mind demands it. Your interest in life returns in tiny pieces. You notice a color you never paid attention to before. You feel a spark of curiosity about something small, maybe a hobby or a thought. You feel a slight urge to do something different, even if you don't act on it yet. These little signs mean that your soul is re-entering the world after hiding for so long, and slowly, your heart begins to trust life again. You start remembering what it feels like to be human, not just surviving, but existing with emotion. You feel gratitude for things you used to ignore. You find comfort in silence instead of fear. You discover strength in the parts of you that once felt broken. You start wanting things again: peace, connection, purpose, joy, and that desire itself is a sign of healing. You begin to understand that you don't need to feel excited every day to have a meaningful life. You just need to feel present. The pressure to always be passionate, always be productive, always be enthusiastic begins to fade. You learn to accept that it's okay for life to have seasons. Some seasons are loud and full of energy. Some are silent and full of reflection, and both are necessary. Healing teaches you that you can rebuild yourself without rushing, that the world won't collapse if you walk instead of run, that the right things come when you stop forcing the wrong ones, that your soul grows best in moments of honesty, not perfection. And then there comes a day, a random, ordinary day, when you wake up and feel a soft, warm sense of clarity. You feel grounded. You feel present in your own skin. You feel connected to life in a way you haven't felt for a long time. It's not dramatic. It's not a celebration. It's simply a moment where you realize you're no longer drowning. You're no longer numb. You're no longer disconnected. You're still healing, yes, but you're healing in the right direction. That day, you may notice that something inside you is beginning to glow again. Your dreams feel within reach. Your emotions feel alive. Your heart feels open, and you realize that you didn't lose interest in life. You simply needed time to understand what kind of life you truly want. The numbness didn't destroy you. It reshaped you. It removed what was fake. It exposed what was real. It taught you what your heart cannot live without. The truth is, when nothing felt interesting anymore, you weren't dying. You were transforming. You were shedding your old skin, old beliefs, old fears, old expectations. Now, as the color returns to your world, you begin to move in a way that aligns with your deeper self. You choose differently. You love differently. You think differently. You speak differently. You see life with new eyes. You stop chasing things that drain your spirit. You stop forcing connections that don't feel genuine. You stop pretending to be okay when you are not. You stop running from yourself, and in that honesty, life becomes beautiful again, not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally living with truth. And here is the most powerful part. When your interest in life returns, it comes back wiser, calmer, and more meaningful than before. You appreciate small things more. You value peace more. You protect your energy more. You choose yourself more. Life becomes beautiful again because you are finally aligned with who you truly are. And one day, without even noticing it, you will feel alive again, fully, deeply, naturally. Not because something big happened, but because you came back to yourself. And in that return, you will understand that the period when nothing felt interesting was not an ending. It was the quiet beginning of the person you were always meant to become.